And so they will still levy that offense against him, and then they pronounce bad character against him because he's not admitting the offense. Okay, then finally we come to the seventh case, and this is the means, again, for resolving a conflict or quarrel within the Sangha, where the Sangha has become divided into two factions, and they've been in a dispute, and finally they want to settle this dispute. But while they were disputing, they engaged in many types of activities, especially types of speech, which are considered unfitting for those who have gone forth, unfitting for monastics. And so if they're going to try to settle this dispute in detail and rehearse and review all of the different types of inappropriate behavior that one side engaged in against the other, then it will just drag on and it will sort of spark up and it'll like fan past resentments. And so what the two sides do is make an agreement to settle the conflict between them by, they use the metaphor of covering over with grass. I guess it's like ending a fire when the fire is sort of burning down and it's just in the stage of embers. Then one takes a heap of wet grass and puts it on top of the fire, and the wet grass makes the fire burn out. And so this is the way this is done. It said that when the monks have taken to quarreling and brawling and have deepened disputes, they may have said and done many things improper for an ascetic. So then the monks all meet in concord, and when they have met, then one wise bhikkhu on one side gets up, puts his palms together, and then he calls for a special act of the Sangha. He says, "Let the Sangha listen to me. When we were deep in disputes, we said many things that were improper for a recluse. And now, on the part of all of the monks on this side, I confess by covering over with grass any offenses of these venerable ones and any of my own offenses, except those which are serious transgressions and those which are connected with the laity." If it's connected with the laity, then the transgressing monks have to go to the lay people and apologize to them. Okay, and then a wise or respected elder amongst the other group of monks on the other side of the conflict also gets up and he makes the same confession on behalf of the monks on his side. So in this way, they restore harmony within the Sangha. Okay, before we just take the last part of the discourse, now I'll ask again whether there's any questions on this part, which is a bit technical. Richard, you could take the microphone.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Am I to understand that paragraphs 14, 15, 18, and 20 are not concerning defeat or near defeat, right? And that 16, 17, and 19 are for more serious...
Let me just track. Okay,
that is
14...
14, 15. 14's on
okay,
855.
Okay. 14, 15.
Right? 14, 15, 18, and 20 are the ones that don't say defeat or near defeat, right? And 16, 17, and 19 do.
Right.
So 16, 17, and 19 are for the gravest offenses, right? That is the four: sexual intercourse, stealing, murder, false claims, and supernormal powers. Okay, and then they're also for the 13 other actions which are near to defeat? You said there were 13.
Yeah.
Is there a
There are
list of those
13
someplace?
which require an act of the full Sangha.
Okay. Is there a list of those?
Is there a list in the Majjhima Nikaya?
Of the 13 actions that require an
A
action
meeting of the Sangha?
Yeah.
The list is in the Patimokkha. It includes things like intentional emission of semen, with a lustful mind, having contact with a woman, speaking lewd words to a woman, making a false accusation against another monk with the intention of trying to get him to drop out of the Sangha.
Okay.
Several rules concerned with trying to foment quarrel or dispute within the Sangha, a schism in the Sangha.
Is there some place I'd like to read the set and discussion of them? Is some place I should look?
Let's see where you could find. If you can find a copy of the Patimokkha, you can just go.
P-A-T-T-I?
Yeah, you find it in the word Patimokkha.
Mocha.
I think it's on page 854.
854.
854.
Okay.
I think there's probably some translation of the Patimokkha online.
Okay. All right. And my second question is, it's normal when he discusses a series of things to use the same order for them, but this time he doesn't. The 7 kinds of settlement, he lists in one order, and then he discusses them in the order of 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Do you know any reason for that? And it's also not the order of serious versus unserious either. That is, it's not the original order that he uses in paragraph 13, and it's also not the order of serious versus mild. Do you know why he would do that? That is, on 13, it comes...
My guess would be that he's following the sequence of the 4 things, more or less the 4 things mentioned in paragraph 12, starting with the dispute. So dispute applies to 14 and 15.
Okay.
Okay, then the second ground of litigation is an offense. So then offense enters in with 16. I'm sorry. The second one is an accusation. So then the accusation comes in with 16 and 17. Then an offense comes in with number 18. 19 seems a little bit out of place. It would seem to me that if it were following, a more logical order, what's now paragraph 19 would precede paragraph 18.
Right.
So it's keeping the sequence of things concerned with accusation. Then 18 is concerned with the third ground of litigation, an offense. And then 20 again goes back to a dispute, but the procedure which is used, covering over with grass, seems to me to come to under the heading of litigation concerning proceedings. So I think if we look at it as following that's the sequence of the 4 types of litigation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Barbara?
Could you clarify for me what the meaning is when it talks about an offense involving defeat or bordering on defeat? What does that mean?
Yeah, the word defeat, the Pali word is parajika, which means that as I said, if a monk commits one of those transgressions, then it requires that he leave the monastic order.
Okay, or bordering.
And if bordering means it's getting close, but it doesn't go over, it doesn't quite go over the line. Okay, so now, okay, please.
Have you experienced this yourself in your life within a community?
Well, certainly I've been participated in clearing offenses through confession. Procedures like this, I haven't been part of myself.
Oh, that's
because
good.
I've lived in just generally in small monastic communities where there's been fortunately a fairly high level of harmony and.
Well, that's good. That's good. I just was curious as to how if in fact you had an experience with it, how it worked out.
Yeah, no, I haven't had personal experience.
Good. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so just coming into the last section of the sutta, okay, you could see now that, in a sense, everything which has come up to this point is all sort of originating or emerging from the problem of disputes and conflicts. So we have the teaching on the 6 roots of disputes, then the 4 kinds of litigation and the means of settling, which seem that it's introduced at that point because it's all centering around the problem of disputes. And now in the last section, the Buddha is teaching what's called the 6 principles of cordiality, that is, of friendliness and goodwill, which create love and respect and conduce to cohesion, non-dispute, concord, and unity. So we just go through them very briefly. So this is that a monk performs bodily actions of metta, of loving kindness, both openly and in private towards his fellow monks. That is, he can do it openly. For example, when there's a meeting of the Sangha, then they all maybe work together if they have to move things to prepare the meeting room. Or if there is a sick monk, then bringing him things that he needs, medicine, food, and so on. So that would be done openly, and privately or secretly maybe privately is just if there's one monk who's sick and needs some help, then one just helps him without making it part of a group activity. Okay, and then verbal acts of loving kindness, that's both openly and privately. Speaking well of the other monks, praising those who deserve praise, speaking gently without giving way to anger, and praising them both publicly and also, speaking privately in a friendly, harmonious way to other monks. And though I'm speaking in terms of monks, we could apply these principles to any community. And then maintaining mental acts of loving kindness. That is, developing loving kindness in one's mind towards the other members of the community. Here we could see how a formula gets applied in a way where it doesn't quite work out. Maintaining mental acts of loving kindness both in public and in private. I don't know how one could maintain mental acts of loving kindness in public, unless maybe if there's like a large meditation retreat and all of the monks are sitting together, then they're generating loving kindness to each other in the meditation hall. And then to do it privately, when the monk goes off to his own room and sits in meditation, then he develops loving kindness towards the other monks in the monastery. Okay, so these 3 are just simply bodily acts, verbal acts, or speech, and mental acts or thoughts of loving kindness, then enjoying or using things in common with one's virtuous companions in the holy life. And so whatever gains one makes, that is, when one gets robes, alms food, little things that one needs, medicines, toothpaste, soap, towels, or even equipment, if one gets, extra computer. No, I'm not joking. Or say one monk needs a computer, and there maybe can be several in a storeroom, so then they will give one to the monk who needs a computer. And so even if one goes on alms round and one monk comes back with a full bowl, another monk goes and comes back with just an almost empty bowl, and so the monk with a full bowl will put his extra food, usually they put it in bowls or containers out on a table. Then the monks who need can take from it until they have enough for themselves. So sharing things in common, then observing the precepts in harmony, so everybody is observing the same code of discipline. And then sixth, maintaining in common the view that is called noble and emancipating, and that leads the one who practices in accordance with it to the complete destruction of suffering. So these are the 6 principles of harmony and respect. And then the Buddha ends by saying that, now he's addressing Ananda again, he says, if you undertake and maintain these 6 principles of cordiality, do you see any kind of speech, trivial or gross, that you could not endure? And Ananda says no. So if all of the monks are committed to these 6 principles of harmony and respect, then if there's any kind of bitter speech erupts within the Sangha, then they'll be able to settle that conflict which is starting just when it's in the bud. They'll nip it in the bud. And so therefore the Buddha says to Ananda, therefore undertake and maintain these 6 principles of cordiality, and then that will lead to your welfare and happiness for a long time. And that is the end of the discourse. Okay, we'll break now for the lunchtime, and then if there's any further questions that you have in your minds, we come back after lunch, 10 after 12, quarter after 12, and we could discuss the questions then. Okay, so let us end now with the sharing of the merits. So we share the merits with the Dhamma-protecting deities, with the fear spirits or Bhuttas, and with all other beings, asking them to protect the Dhamma, to protect ourselves and others. Akasata chabumata deva nagamhitika punyantang hanumoditva chirang rakantu sasanang. Akasata chabumata deva nagamhitika punyantang hanumoditva chirang rakantu desanang. Akasata chabumata Deva naga mahedika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu mang parang. Etavatacham hehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etavatacham hehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etavatacham hehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe satanumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Bhavagopadaya vichihetato etantare satakayupapanna rupya rupicha sanya sanino. My mind has gone blank. Bhavagopadaya vichihetato etantare satakayupapanna rupya rupicha sanya sanino dukkha pamuchantu pusantu nibuting. I don't know how opera singers can do it. Sometimes 2 hours opera and singing. My voice is going at, what, an hour and a half? Okay, so we'll come back at 12:15.